I'll put any questions in the chat and ask you as you go along again.
No, that would be great. Yes. Lovely. So hello everyone. Thank you so much for coming back and joining us. So again, my name is Fred and I'm here from the AIM group, but I come on behalf of the National Apprenticeship Service. And this afternoon for our last session, we're going to look at how to sell yourself and how to develop your strengths. Okay. So let me just share what I have. Now, of course, everyone, if you have any questions throughout this, you can put them in the chat. We do have some activities that we're going to do. So I would really like it if you all join in. And if you're not feeling confident to come off mic, that is absolutely fine. You can put your answers in the chat and then Miss can read them out loud for all of us to hear. So you should all, let me show you, you should have received this one here. Can you see this sheet? If you haven't, that's okay, but it's quite useful if you do have it to have it ready at hand so you can use it. Okay, so we're going to be doing different activities today. Here's a list, but again, if you don't have it right now, that's okay, because I can send it to you after this session. So anybody else who's watching this on record can request for it. And you know, we're going to be looking at all these great buzzwords and all these great skills. Okay,
That would
so
be great, Fred. If we can have that put into the chat facility, that'd be amazing. Thank you.
I can't I don't know how to attach the actual sheet onto the chat, but I can send that over to you
If you
as
can
an
email it
attachment.
to me, then yeah, I will add that for everyone later.
Oh, lovely. Okay, so we'll do
Thank
that after
you.
this session, guys. But for time being, you can use pen and paper to make notes, and then you know you can always have this second sheet. I think it's quite handy to have because it's got lots of great words here. But we'll go through it together anyway. Okay. So if I show you, so it's the PowerPoint. So as I said, what we're going to do today is really looking at some of those keywords. It's something that we already looked at a little bit yesterday when it came to writing a good application. But this time I want you to really focus on yourself and who you are as a person. And I want you to really, as I said, learn how to sell yourself in a really positive way, so then you can attract really good employers and you can be successful in your application. So when you do a introduction, okay, you always start off with your name and what your current interests are. So, or something that you've been doing since lockdown. This is something that's become sort of really popular at the moment because of lockdown that we had, well, the few lockdowns that we had. So lots of people have been doing lots of different things. I've had quite a few students learning how to bake, which is great because again you gain so many great valuable skills from baking, but it's just also a little bit of fun, isn't it? I've had loads of people telling me that they've been delivering shopping for elderly neighbors, which is lovely as well. Very, you know, altruistic. It's volunteer work. Lots of people have been volunteering at supermarkets as well, and I've had loads of friends as well volunteering at the test centers. Test centers. Sorry. That introduction about yourself. Is anybody willing to share what they have been doing since lockdown? Has anybody done anything sort of out of the ordinary during lockdown? Has anybody learned any new skills during lockdown? Some people have learned how to do like coding, and some people have been really invested into the IT stuff. Any of you guys done anything a bit different? If you haven't, don't worry, it's okay. I haven't really done much apart from sort of homeschooling, which I have to say, I am so grateful to teachers now because I didn't realize how hard work it is to teach primary school children. So that's my learning from lockdown.
Oh,
Anybody
it
willing to
definitely
share?
is. I did some homeschooling as well, and I did some paddleboarding.
Oh,
And
wow.
Hannah's put down that she's been doing pedicures.
Ooh, wow. That's really good.
I've heard some people have been doing things like cooking.
Yeah.
Alison's been making cheese.
Cheese.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's quite
That is a
different. That's
skill.
very, very skillful.
That is brilliant. Oh, wow. I knew you were a good group, guys. You're always really good and you have so many amazing skills. So well done. Those are really good things that you can really use and sell yourself with. So really great start, okay? So now the first activity is looking at what are strengths. Okay, now before I show you what strengths are, I want you to think about what we talked about yesterday a little bit and just thinking about what strengths are in general. So I want you to write down what you think as strengths are. Okay, so how would you define strengths? And then I want you to put it in the chat so then you can share it as a group. So if I give you a few minutes to do that, so think about what strengths are. So think about earlier, sort of yesterday, if you were in that group, when we looked at writing an application and we looked at all different strengths. What did we talk about when it came to strengths? What do we think strengths are?
Okay, we've
How
got
would you
some people
define?
using the chat facility, and some people
Perfect.
won't have been in the session yesterday.
Okay.
We've got time management skills, some people organised, writing skills.
Brilliant. So you are all using amazing buzzwords, but what I was trying to say is how would you define strengths? So it's a bit of a tricky one. So let's go through it together. If you want to make some notes, you can do that in your little box or pen and paper, okay? So strengths are something that we're good at. So that's how you would define a strength, okay? Something that we're natural or something that we have developed. So some people are naturally good at something and some people have developed skills or strengths, okay? Everybody's good at something. Okay, as I said to you earlier, everybody's good at something, and we all have amazing different set of skills, which makes us unique. And we're all good at different things. So you can't expect everybody to have the same skills and the same strengths. So some people are better at something than others, and that's why it makes us so unique because we're all different, and it's amazing. It's okay for everybody to have different strengths, as I said, and our strengths do change over time. So tell you something, I was very, very shy when I was young, and I would have never been able to do this type of job where I have to speak in front of lots of people, okay? But now, over time, I've become a bit more confident and I'm able to do that. So I'm sure you all have changed and developed and learned different things as you get older. So our strengths do change over time. Something that we're really good at may not be so good as time goes on, and some things that we weren't very good at, we are now really good at. For example, I'm not very good at gaming anymore. I used to be, but not so much now. So things do change. And then participating in activities that we're good can make us feel happy. So usually when you're strong at something and you're good at something, you actually enjoy doing that thing as well. So it becomes much more enjoyable as well, and shows. And we all develop strengths in different ways. So some of you are very sort of active learners and you are more proactive and you can actually learn while actually doing something. Other people may feel that they're more academic and they do prefer sort of studying exams. So it depends on the person, and I say this all the time. We all develop our strengths in different ways and our learning, and this is why it's so important that we all find our own path in life. Everybody's different. And some people may find it easier, for example, to write things down. Other people have a photography memory, but they remember things a lot clearly just by looking at them. Other people, learn by practicing. There's lots of different ways, okay? So don't feel that you are any less compared to somebody else, because you can still develop those strengths. It's just your own way of doing it, okay? And you will learn that about yourself. You will learn how to learn new skills and new strengths. And being able to talk about our strengths will increase our confidence. So this is really about selling yourself, learning about what you are good at, and really putting that out there. Okay, so that's the whole purpose of what we are doing today. Talking about our strengths not only will make you more confident, so if you say I'm really good at that, it really shines. As I said, it comes across in your eyes, it makes you a lot happier, and it does build that confidence as well. And strengths can also help you identify possible careers. So what you are good at, you can then potentially do it as a job, which is, you know, normal. It's a normal thing to do. Everybody tends to prefer to do something that they're good at because you're good at it, you have good strengths in it, and also, as I said to you earlier, it's something that you enjoy. So you then develop a career for it. So that's great. Anybody else got anything else that would say about strengths? I think that kind of covers it all, doesn't it, guys? Yeah. Okay, right. I'm going to show you this little video. I hope the sound works. I think we did. Let me just. Right. It should work. Okay. I'm going to play it. Tell me if it doesn't. Okay. Did you hear it?
No, we can't.
Okay. I worry that my computer sound is not on. As in it's on, but it's not sharing with you. Would you know how to do that? There isn't. Sorry, bear with me. I will stop sharing and then share again. Sorry, few technical issues.
It's absolutely fine. It always happens with videos, so don't worry.
Include the sound is because I always forget to tick that one. Sorry. Okay, here we go. Right. Here we go. So I'll have this up. Such a cute little video, so hopefully you will like it.
Yes, we can hear that.
Lovely, thank you. Okay, so what do we think? So as you can see, it's all about strengths today, and I really want you to really think about yourself and about all the good things that you have about yourself, and I want you to really show them off rather than focus on the negative. It is so easy for all of us to always look at the negative and what we are not so good at and try to emphasize on that. That's not what we want to do today. What we want to do, especially when we apply for a new job or apprenticeship, you want to really focus focus on all the positive stuff that you can bring to that particular role, and that will make you feel so much better, and then you find it easier to then continue to sell yourself. Right, so these are some of the words on the screen that you can see, which you kind of already did earlier when I asked you about strengths. So well done, you started doing that sort of exercise already when you were thinking about buzzwords. These are some of the buzzwords that you can use to really showcase how good you are, to really show off. So you want to think of these keywords and add them into your application, use them in your interview so that you can really make yourself stand out. Okay, so these are some of the words that you will find. Now, the other thing we also looked at, which is great, is hobbies, which can demonstrate your strengths, okay? So some of these hobbies, again, some of you weren't here yesterday in the other group, but we were looking at thinking about our own hobbies and what skills can you gain from those. So we all have our own hobbies and interests, and from this, you can gain some transferable skills, which you can use in the workplace. Again, whether that's a full-time job or an apprenticeship, you can still use these. And it works really well for you because, of course, employers don't expect you to have lots and lots and lots of work experience. So, of course, you know, using these hobbies and interests will, again, make you stand out because you can transfer the skills. So if we look at sort of some of these, I want you to start thinking already about what hobbies do you have. And if you can think of any keywords, I want you to sort of write them down for me. So think about any hobbies that you have. So, I mean, somebody said that they were making was it cheese? Cheese, sorry, not butter. During lockdown, I thought that is amazing skill. It's not only just a skill, you know, it's a hobby, I guess, and it's a great hobby. So some of the things that you have done during lockdown, again, they can be used as transferable skills too. So if you have that piece of paper with you, you can tick sort of the box that you can see on the screen next to the hobby that you have, or you can write it down. So write down the hobby, and it doesn't have to be from the list here. It can be your own hobby. And then I want you to think about some of those sort of keywords that you can use to describe what kind of transferable skills have you gained from this particular hobbies, okay? So I'm going to show you a quick video, and then I'm going to ask you what kind of hobbies do you have. So you have 1 minute while this video plays to write down your own hobby and what transferable skills or what keywords can you think of when you think of that hobby, okay? Okay, brilliant. So let's go on to the next bit. Oh, right. Before we skip all the pages. Okay, so tell me, is anybody willing to write down in the chat what their hobby is and what keywords, buzzwords can they think of that would go alongside. So as I said, if you were here yesterday, we were doing this kind of exercise yesterday a little bit. So if you are new, this is new. And as I said, you can keep these notes with you and you can take them with you when you apply for your next apprenticeship or job. Okay. But it's really to get you to think about those keywords and how you would use them, and how great it is to have a hobby and an interest, because you can really gain some valuable skills. So, Miss, has anybody written anything in the chat to
It's
share?
people are typing away. We've
Hey,
just got to
brilliant.
wait. I'll share mine. So with paddleboarding, I've had to be motivated and dedicated and quite calm to be able to deal with the changing conditions whilst
Wow.
trying to balance.
Oh, wow, that's pretty amazing. Well done. That's really good. Thank you, Miss. Anybody else want to share? You can come off mic if you want to, but if you're not feeling confident, you can say you can type it in the chat. That's absolutely fine.
Okay, we've got Lauren, and she's been very arty. So she's put down creativity, self-expression, and patience.
Very good.
We've
Oh,
got
that's
Gaina, who's been
yeah,
singing. She's been very creative, obviously become more confident and very enthusiastic.
that's good. Very good.
And Alison, with her cheese making, has been working independently. It's required a lot of patience,
Yes, can imagine.
methodical work, and she's been very versatile.
Oh, wow, I love it. That's really good. Well done. That's really good. So I put up a list there for you. As I said, I will share the other activity sheet, which has this whole list for you. But what I really want you to do, and I'm going to keep this up so you can have a look at it. The next activity that we're going to do is really thinking about yourself and what skills do you have that you feel stand out. So by reading this list, what would you say your 5 different? So if you had to pick 5 out of these, what would you pick? So I want you to, you got a little table there, or if you don't, as I said, you can just write it down. I want you to write 1 to 5, just 5 different words from this list that would describe you as a person. Okay, so write it down in your piece of paper now, just so you have that list. So how would you describe yourself if you had to use 5 words from this list? Okay, we need to pick the 5 ones that would stand out. So let's play this little game with Miss. What would you say your 5 words to describe yourself were?
Okay, I'd say that I have to be highly motivated.
Yeah.
Also, I have to be quite patient.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because obviously if there's a lot of wind or bad weather conditions, it's not a good idea to go out. I have to be very dedicated.
Yes.
I have to be calm to be able to adapt to any changing conditions. And also I have to be independent. I'm out there on my own. I don't have any help. I have a life jacket and that's it.
That's great. So you really described your hobby. I was referring to yourself as a person. What would you say your 5 skills were as a person? So, for example, if I were to describe my character, my personality, I would say I am quite energetic and enthusiastic, because I do drink a lot of coffee, so I'm always buzzing away. Okay. I would say that I'm quite friendly. I find that people do approach me quite easily. I'm very hardworking. And I don't know, let me think of one last one. Quite responsible, I would say. I have children, so I would say I'm quite responsible there too. So that will be my 5 different keywords to describe my own personality. But Miss, you did really well because you actually applied them to your hobby. So it's up to you if you want to use them to describe a particular hobby that you have, or yourself as a character, your own personality. How would you describe yourself? So once you got those 5, what I also want you to do is rank them for me. Okay, so I want you to from 1 to 5, from the highest, so 5 being the highest. Okay, what would you say your top skill is? So I'm going to put these back up, so you can have a look again. But this time I would like you guys to share with us. So if you could put them in order, from 1 to 5. So from, well, let's go from 5 to 1. So your highest to your least. How would you order them? Okay. So if you could all give us that list, put it in the chat if you're willing to share, just so we can get a nice idea of who you are as a person, because it really does describe you a little bit, doesn't it? Because you can always remember, guys, with these keywords, you can always expand and talk more about them. So, you know, as we said, Miss was great because she actually applied them to her hobby. I explained why I'm so energetic and why I'm so responsible in a way. So I want you to, you can always expand on these, but for now, I just want you to focus on what you think would best describe you just by using those 5 words. So, Miss, do we have anybody in the chat that has shared with us
There's
on
some
it?
there's some lovely skills coming through. So we've got Lauren, who's
Yeah,
creative, adaptable, committed, determined, and very patient.
I love it. Very good.
We've got Hannah,
Really,
who's put down that she's calm, she's accurate, she's a very fast worker, she's friendly and reliable.
very good. Oh, that's really good.
And Gainer's put down that she's committed, adaptable, energetic, very enthusiastic, and versatile.
Oh, wow. She sounds like me. That's really great. See, I'm glad that you get the idea. So you want to think about your best asset and then just really emphasize on that and, you know, really expand on it and really show off that those particular skills, because not everybody, no one in the world is going to have all of these. Okay, we all better at something than others, as I said to you earlier. So it's really about emphasizing what you're really good at and use that. Okay, so you know, is a Lauren who's very creative. That's brilliant. You know, it sounds like you are an amazing creative person, so you know you want to really show off all of those skills. So great, thank you all for sharing. That was really good.
Fred, if you're struggling with putting down as many as 5, how would you suggest students and work out what other skills they have?
So as I said, you can look at you know, the hobbies that you do and try to transfer the skills that you get from those hobbies. Look at what do you enjoy. Think about yourself as a person. What do you enjoy doing day to day? And how would you, the other way you could also do it, when I'm in the classroom, I tend to do this little game a lot. I usually get students to describe each other rather than themselves. So if you went to a friend or maybe somebody from the family and asked them, describe me in 3 words, just by using 3 words, and they tend to be sort of these type of keywords that would describe you. So if you're not sure how to really describe yourself, you're feeling a little bit shy, then maybe speak to somebody that knows you better, you know, in that kind of sense, that knows you well, and they can describe you as a person, because that can be a really good booster as well. Because sometimes they notice things that you may not notice because you do it so naturally, and they may just, you know, somebody might tell you, oh, you are really friendly, oh, you give the best advice, oh, you are so decisive. So, you know, things like that, they can be really supportive people around you. So I would say that's another good way of finding out about yourself, if you can't think of anything, of course. But I'm sure you're all amazing, and I'm sure from this massive list you can find lots of great adjectives to really describe you. Yeah.
That's lovely. Thank you, Fred.
No worries. You should play that little game, describing yourselves with somebody else. It's you find a lot about people like that. So, what you do when you are explaining your strengths to an employer, uh, so you kind of want to, we looked at yesterday a little bit the star model. Okay, so pretty much what you do is you explain, as I said, by using examples to try and back up those answers. So those 5 words that you use, those buzzwords that you've used, try and think of some examples which you can then use to describe yourself to that particular employer. So I have an example here on the board, on the screen, sorry, that you can see. So you got an example for honesty. This person has said that when they were working in the shop, a customer paid for something costing £10. They gave me £20 note and walked away before I had given them their change. So I chased after them and gave them the correct change, and they were very grateful. I know it sounds crazy, but people do that. My granddad, I believe, did that one time. He chased after a lady that, was like 5p or something. It was really silly, but yeah. So try and think of some examples. So for our last activity now, I know I did say this workshop was a little bit shorter than the other ones. I want you to think about your top. So look at your top skill, your top buzzword, okay, to describe yourself as we ranked, okay? So your top one, I want you to think of an example. So again, some of you have already given me some examples. If you've already given an example, can you try and think of another one? So I want you to all take a minute or so to write down in your little sort of pen and paper. I want you to write down an example that will back up that particular keyword. And then if you want to type it in the chat. So again, I would love to hear more of your examples, just because I love to hear other people's stories, and you learn so much from other people as well, and their experience too. So it's always great to hear back what you guys have to say. So I'll give you a minute, and then I hope that some of you can think of some really good examples. I know I'm putting you a little bit on the spot here, but sometimes those are the best examples when you are, on the spot.
We got some typing going.
That's really good. I was going to say, I bet you're all typing away, I hope. I want to hear it. You guys have been a really good group, and I really enjoyed the fact that you're really joining in and really trying. So well done. And thank you all so much for sharing. It's really great to hear. So love to hear more.
Okay, got polite. Alison has put, I normally send thank you emails and thank you letters when someone has done something special for me.
Oh,
That's really lovely.
That is really lovely. Well done. That's lovely. Anybody else feeling? Thank you for sharing. Anybody else feeling
Gaynor
impressed?
has shown her commitment by staying behind after work to help others. That's
Oh,
really good.
that's good. Anybody else? Miss, do you have what was your top keyword, Miss?
I'd say I'm quite calm and dedicated,
Okay.
but
And
I'm also very motivated. So,
which
but
one would you pick, and what examples can you give us?
I'd probably say I'm enthusiastically dedicated,
Yeah.
and I try to put that into everything I do.
Do you have one specific example that really shows off your enthusiasm and dedication?
Um,
Putting you on the spot now.
you are putting me on the spot. No, I like to think that I put 100% into anything I try to do. So yeah.
That's good. That's really good. Well, thank you for sharing those ones that have shared. If you want to share, feel free to put it in the chat, because I would love to hear a little bit more from you. But yeah, so you kind of get the idea a little bit. So it's really thinking about yourself, what skills you have, and that could be from hobbies, from work experience, from education. Think about those keywords that would best describe you, and try and think of some examples to back up those answers. So you will always be asked, oh, what examples can you give us? Okay, so it's good to think about these examples before, sort of ahead of the application, ahead of your interview, so that you feel a little bit more prepared. Okay, and as I said, it's really lovely to speak to other people about your skills, because it not only will make you feel good. So if you tell people all of your great skills, what you have learned today, for example, every day you can say, I've learned this today, or you can make like a little diary of all the things that you've learned every day. I know it sounds crazy, but looking back, you'll realize how much you've learned, even in a week. We learn things all the time, every day, and we are always developing and changing. So you learn things without even realizing. And as I said, you're all amazing, all of you, in your own way. And I'm sure you all have some amazing skills. It's just trying to get them out of you, just so you can really present them to that employer, so then you can really stand out. Okay, so in summary, recognizing your strengths and how they've been developed is the key to success of selling yourself to an employer. Okay, so really thinking about those strengths. Again, I want you to take a bit of time today, maybe think about all of the things that you do, even try to notice the things that you do, and what skills do you get from that. Even silly things, how to load a washing machine. You think that's, how to do a washing machine. Oh, well, not everybody knows how to do that. So again, it's a skill. So all the things that you do, you may think that they are irrelevant, but actually you can use some transferable skills into the workplace. Okay, but all you have to do is really get them out, so you can sell yourself. Okay, we all have, as I said, we can all demonstrate our skills each day. We're all doing new things every day. Identifying your skills enables you to match yourself to a suitable job. So what do you enjoy doing? Okay, what skills do you have that other people in a way don't? So then what career paths can you go down? What will make you feel happy in a particular job? Yeah. When applying for jobs, look out how your strength can support your application. So again, going back to that job specification, what kind of person are they looking for? And look at the kind of person, those keywords that describe the person that the employer is looking for. And if you match all of that, make sure you add those words in your application, so you're more likely to be successful. But also it kind of gives you the idea of the kind of person they're looking for, and it may be spot on exactly for you. Okay. Your strengths will develop, and they change all the time, as I've already said. If you get stuck, again, speak to your family, your friends, your teachers, and they can tell you what skills you have. Okay, so don't feel, never ever say you don't have any strengths, because I know that you all have some amazing strengths. It's just about getting them out, okay, and putting it on pen and paper and out there to that employer. Okay, so I hope, even though this session was a little bit shorter than the other ones, I do hope that this has helped. There is lots of resources on the Amazing Apprenticeship website, and the link is on the screen now. There's quizzes, word search, videos, all sorts about all different things. Okay, so do have a look on there. There's some amazing stuff on there. And if you need any support, again, you have an amazing careers team that can help you. However, and amazing tutors too, don't forget. But if you is out of hours, you can always go on to the National Apprenticeship Service website, and you can reach out for help. And the National Career Service, which we looked at earlier as well, you can get loads of help from there. It's not just about apprenticeships, but also about CV interviews, anything to really help you. Okay, but I want you, as I said, to think about today about yourself, and try to notice all the things that you do, and put them down on pen and paper, and try and think of examples, maybe something that you've done. If anything comes to mind, write it down on that piece of paper. As I said, I hope this session was useful. If you do have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat, and I will be sharing that activity sheet with you anyway, because it has a good list of keywords, which can be always useful to have a hand. And anybody who's watching this on sort of record, you know, I'm sure you can have access to that sheet as well if you ask your tutors. Okay, but thank you all so much for attending today's session.
That's really lovely. Thank you so much, Fred. Been
No worries.
brilliant.
Thank you so much for having me.